Hey everybody, welcome to Cut, Transform, Glue in a project as big and complex as the Dragonfly. Forgetting things and ideas I had in the middle of the process is pretty easy, especially when I have to go back and change stuff, like it is the case with the legs, more specifically with the back ones. Some of you pointed out that these didn't look right for the size of the ship, and I have to agree. Making them the same size of the front ones was a mistake. Now, luckily, I think I have a quick solution for this. So, as you guys know, when I go to my local public makerspace to use their giant and amazing laser CNCs, I sometimes cut some extra parts, like these general leg shapes that I can break to the size I need. This is precisely how I made the first version of the legs, and I'm using slightly bigger shapes to make them, well, bigger. Just have to first remove stuff I glued before. Now, fortunately, acrylic is very tough and forgiving, and so removing the glued parts wasn't a big deal. By the way, sanding the parts helps not only you seeing what's going on, but also it helps with the CA glue adhesion. I then sanded the edges because it is almost impossible to glue them perfectly aligned, and made the piece square again on my mini disc sander. And this right here, my friends, is the sad tale of a man who is still saving money for a proper bandsaw. Yeah, I hate cutting acrylic by hand. But anyways, I then made that cut perfectly square, which is totally useless because that's the kind of life I live, but it looks so nice, doesn't it? Yeah, let's move on. And then, as you can tell by the noise of the 3D printers going, yeah, I was printing some pieces to extend the legs. 3D printing haters out there, please give me a break. And then I glued in the slightly bigger portion on the back of it. Now, of course, because of that I had to change some other designed parts to match this new leg size. And I was pretty much done with this leg replacement. But of course, not done making it look cool, so I went shopping for some nice greeblies. In my collection of parts, I have a bunch of these ferrite cord thingies right here, and they look amazing, super sci-fi and useful on a lot of different designs. I began by opening them, removing some unwanted features, and then gluing them back shut with some CA glue. This last step might seem not really important, but trust me, these are repurposed parts that can be pretty recognizable, and I think that could break the illusion of scale, so I always remove what I can. Then I grabbed some discs of acrylic to close the holes on the back and the front of that piece. The plastic of that ferrite core shell right there is not that good, but fortunately it works okay with CA. And I'm working with all kinds of things to hide the features that I feel are kinda recognizable from that piece. So you just saw me using some pieces of acrylic on the front and back, and now I'm gluing some keyboard keys on the top and bottom. I'm also going for some 1mm styrene discs that I make myself right here in the shop, and some good looking beads. I wish I could keep the pieces separated to make my life easier on the painting process, but I couldn't find a quick way to attach them, so yeah, I glued everything together and I'll deal with that later. And of course, I made the same design on both legs. And then I added one extra piece where later I'll attach some wires and tubes on each leg. And then it was time to put everything together and check the result. Is it that different? Well, maybe not, but it is good enough so I can move on because I already saw something right here in my shop that gave me an idea. Let's go for it. This red piece right here, which has the precise amount of weirdness I want for my models, and I know exactly what I want to attach it on the Dragonfly. But before I do that, I want to just add a couple of structures to make it even more interesting. I made a ring piece so the diameter of that white tube matched the one on the red piece. And then I went for my favorite attachment method, which is using some tiny fake Lego pieces to connect everything together. There's of course one on the bottom of the red piece and one that will be sitting on the Dragonfly itself. I have a bunch of these tiny little bolts and nuts made for glasses in my collection, and I always forget to use them in my project, so I decided to try some on the Dragonfly. There's a flat spot on the bottom of the Dragonfly that I made a long time ago in the project, just so later I could maybe hang something there, and the red weird shape is perfect for that spot. And then looking in my boxes of big and round shapes, I found this one, which gave me an even weirder idea. That dome-shaped thing combined with this black interesting shape right here will make for a great radar for the side of the Dragonfly. Let me show you my idea. And yeah, I still haven't got that step drill bit leading me to atrocities like this one. Managed to solve that with a Dremel and some sea glue, though flying pieces of molten acrylic, not a great feeling. That acrylic piece will of course provide some surface for the black disc. In my collection of tubes, I found this one that perfectly matched the black disc. And my idea is to put it right here on the side of the plane, kind of sitting on an angle. And to safely attach it, because I definitely want to keep this one separated from the model for the painting process, I designed this custom piece right here. I of course had to trim the excess of the white tube. Then I had to decide on an angle on the side of the plane for that structure. Did some scratching of the surface to increase the surface area and help the sea glue, and glued the thing in place. Added a couple of extra detail pieces here and there, and of course covered that hole, because if you remember there's a nut embedded in that piece and I won't use it. Okay, so now let's turn our attention to the front of the Dragonfly near the cockpits. Initially I was thinking of coming up with sort of a mouth for the Dragonfly, like a proper Dragonfly insect, but I gave up on that idea and went for a much simpler solution. I noticed a piece I had in my collection perfectly matched the one I had made before for the Dragonfly, that one right there with the Lego piece embedded on it, and so I simply combined them together. Then in my collection I found this good looking couple right here, and of course made another matching piece for it, this time printed in ABS. I glued that structure on the front of that first piece right there, like so. Added some detailing on the form of some buttons and some surface details. And that's pretty much it, a simple structure on the front of the cockpit, kind of aiming down. I'm not really sure what this is, like in terms of storytelling, but I think it looks good. The natural next step is to, of course, prime the pieces I made this week for the Dragonfly. In a project as big and complex as this one, sometimes even simple tasks like priming the pieces or even putting each one on a stick can take a lot of time. As always, I like to prime my pieces outside so I don't breathe all of the fumes from the paint. And yeah, so I did all of that off camera. Now, I don't want to sit around literally watching paint dry, so I wanted to try something different for this video. Something to do with this little guy right here, my entry for the Big Bot Bash. Now, I believe most of you guys already watched this video, and if you didn't, look around, it is right here on this very channel. But the thing is, I didn't make a base for it, and this is giving me some anxiety. I don't want this thing to fall from the shelf and go back into being multiple pieces, of course. So here's my idea. While I'm waiting for the primer to set, I want to make a quick base, a simple black acrylic base for this little guy right here, the Big Bot Bash entry, and this is a test. I want to hear your thoughts on this like detour, this quick segment outside of the main build. Let me know in the comments what you think. Making YouTube videos, as you guys know, is super challenging. Sometimes I have to wait for a primer coat to set or a 3D print to finish, and of course I don't like to just sit and wait for the thing to be done. I like to do extra stuff I have to do in my shop, and this week I just decided to try to record that extra stuff and share it here with you guys. So yeah, let me know in the comments if this is like interesting at all. Yeah, making YouTube videos can be challenging, but you can help me with that. Check the links in the description box where you can become a patron or a YouTube member. There's also coffee for single donations. And there's a Patreon shop where I sell my digital goods like STL files from past projects. I'll make sure to include all of these links down below. And I also like to thank my patrons and YouTube members. You guys are amazing and make all of this possible. Thank you so much. Back to the project though, putting all of the primed pieces together is super satisfying, because it's when the primer magic kind of happens, it kind of comes and ties everything together and everything starts to make sense. This project really is near its finish line. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, leave me a comment, and I'll leave you guys to some extra glamour shots. As always, thanks for watching.